Albion punished by ruthless Arsenal. Related. Arsenal preview. Fati and Barco back in the squad. Albion analytics. Welbeck's first 100 games. Fanzone food and drink options for rest of the season. Related topics. Match reports. News. WSL at the Amex. Book now. Upcoming fixtures. Premier League. American Express Stadium, Falmer, Albion.
6. april.
17:30 p.m.
Arsenal.
Match center buy tickets. English Women's Super League. American Express Stadium, Falmer, Albion.
19. april.
1900 hours p.m.
Everton.
Match center buy tickets. Premier League. American Express Stadium, Falmer, Albion.
25. april.
2000 hours p.m. Man City. Match center buy tickets. Albion suffered only their second Premier League defeat of the season at the Amex to a clinical Arsenal team who returned to the top of the table. Roberto De Zerbi's team competed well for long stages, but they were punished ruthlessly when Tarek Lamptey's foul in the box enabled Bukayo Saka to give Arsenal a 33rd-minute lead from the penalty spot. Then midway through the second half, just when Albion seemed to be getting on top, they gave the ball away carelessly and seconds later Kai Havertz had made it 2-0. To rub salt into Albion wounds, their former player Leandro Trossard raced, clear to score a third Arsenal goal in the closing stages. It had been a champion display by the visitors. By Paul Hazelwood. Tarek Lamptey goes past Oleksandr Zinchenko. Arsenal should have scored in the first minute when Gabriel headed Martin Odegaard's free kick wide from close range, but it wasn't long before Albion got into their stride. Julio Enciso and Jakub Moder were off target with shots before Simon Adingra cut inside Oleksandr Zinchenko, but couldn't test David Raya with a right-foot effort that was always drifting wide. For once Albion weren't able to dominate possession like they're used to do. Arsenal pressed high, although whenever Albion had the ball they funneled every player behind it. By Paul Hazelwood. Simon Adingra and Tarek Lamptey team up down Albion's right. Gabriel Jesus became an increased threat down the left, forcing Bart Verbruggen to push his shot away at full stretch before heading wide after Kai Havertz found him in space. And the Brazilian was involved when the deadlock was broken in the 33rd minute. Tarek Lamptey got a touch of the ball first as he made his challenge inside the box, but then took his left leg away following through. Referee Brooks' decision to award a penalty stood after a brief VAR check, and Saka drilled it into the bottom corner. Raya had little to do in the first half until the 44th minute, but then he pulled off a brilliant save. Space opened up for Enciso to try and find the far corner from the D, and it was curling inside the post until the Spaniard turned it round the post at full stretch. By Paul Hazelwood. Pervis Estupinan puts Bukayo Saka under pressure. Although Verbruggen had to tip an effort from Martin Odegaard over the bar early in the second period, the home fans knew their side were still in it. Enciso drew a foul from Jorginho after a mazy run, and when Albion subsequently won a corner it was only half cleared, but Enciso volleyed into the north stand. Albion were beginning to get on top. But on 64 minutes, it was 2-0 and again Albion didn't help themselves. Enciso gave the ball to Odegaard. He found Jorginho onside and in space down the right to pick out Havertz, who slid in to score from close range. De Zerbi immediately brought on João Pedro and Facundo Buonanot, but that second goal had punctured the mood somewhat. Arsenal were now comfortable defending in depth and looking to strike on the counter-attack. By Paul Hazelwood. Julio Enciso went close with this first-half effort. De Zerbi immediately brought on João Pedro and Facundo Buonanot, but that second goal had punctured the mood somewhat. Arsenal were now comfortable defending in depth and looking to strike on the counter-attack. They did so to devastating effect with 5 minutes left. Jorginho robbed Pascal Gross in the center circle and sent Trossard away. He kept his composure, and although Verbruggen got a hand to his shot, it wasn't enough to prevent a third Gunners' goal.
Albion, Verbruggen, Lamptey,
Dunk, Van Hekke, Estupenen, Groos, Baleba, Moder, Buonanotte 63, Enciso, Jouwo 63, Adingra, Welbeck, Fati 76.
Subs not used: Steele, Igor, Lalina, Barco, Veltman, Pupian.